Let's talk about that day of love, Valentine's Day, and the perfect beer or wine to go with the special occasion. With us right now, we have Rob Statham. He's a sommelier, beer sommelier as well. So wine and beer is
wine and beer.
What you definitely specialize in. Thedrunkengrape.ca. Things are going well.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a sommelier? I know we've had you on the show before.
Well, basically, the actual term means wine steward. So it's now really used to describe anyone that's beer or wine educated, or spirits educated. There's certain schools of bodies of education to go through. Mine was through the WSET predominantly, or the WSET, which set the standard globally.
Yeah.
You know, you have the master, the Court of Master Sommeliers. Just give you an idea of some of the bodies. So anybody who's gone through and been educated in it generally can say they're a sommelier.
Nice.
Whether they're acting as one on the floor or not, it's a different story.
Okay. I'm sure you have all kinds of different stories when it comes to that. So we'll talk about the Drunken Grape coming up in moments and your services, but let's talk about Valentine's Day, because you're going to give us a bit of a history lesson on exactly how it came to be what it is today.
Well, there's three different saints that were canonized by the name of Valentine. And as legend goes, it's a bit murky and murky water, so nobody knows the exact details. But as legend goes, there was, under the reign of Claudius, or Claudius II of Rome, one of the Caesars, had had Valentine put to death because he was a Christian and he was caught freeing Christians. And from his cage, or his prison cell, he had actually signed a love letter to his lover before he was being executed. So it was in the middle of February, so that's where the date was picked to have the impetus of this holiday to start.
Okay, so where does the happiness and the love get involved?
Well, that gets popularized with lovebirds, with Chaucer, the famous writer, in around 1350 AD or so, the high part of the Middle Ages, wrote about a royal couple getting married, and with it was a note, or a Valentine's card, that was synonymously given out by a patron saint to the couple. Nice. And this is where it tied into the date, and of course this really took off as a holiday in England and France, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Definitely.
I think Hallmark sells something like $4 billion worth of cards on for Valentine's Day.
I might be in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Okay. Cupid and so much more. Of course, Valentine's Day, very special day. I'm sure there's a story behind Cupid, but let's talk about local beers, local wines. Which one would you like to talk about? A winery?
Well, let's start with the beer. The beer, it's right here. It's local. This is Floral Hall Brewery. It was started by a gentleman by the name of David Longbottom in 2017. So it's only a year old. It's an old engineering warehouse and workshop and office space on Floral Avenue, just right off Bank Street in Ottawa Centertown, with a garage door that was converted into this kitchen and brew hall. And they've come up with some terrific beer. And this is based on his experiences of traveling internationally. So he wanted to create a wonderful watering hole, and with it, they've created some fabulous beer. We have one style here, which is an American Pale Ale. That is, you generally get this honeyed color. It's cloudy. It's got a bit of body to it. It's hazy. It's grapefruit, fruity notes to it. Some bitterness, but it's balanced out by the fruit. On the other end, they have this awesome oatmeal stout. And the wonderful thing about all these products, in fact, is balance and complexity. And in there, you have espresso notes, burnt toast, coffee, milk chocolate, and it just, the flavor profiles of what he's done in such a short period of time is quite incredible. Okay,
so that's Floral Hall on Bank Street.
That's Floral Hall Brewery in a nutshell.
Okay, so Henry of Pelham Estates?
So this winery's been around a long time. It's 6 generations. Started in around the 18th century with the great-great-great-grandfather planting vines on farmland that he was given after fighting in the American Revolution for the wrong side, the British side or the Loyalist side. So moving along, the name comes from his son. His son decided to put an inn on the land, or a tavern, and signing the liquor license, he signed jokingly Henry of Pelham, making fun of a former prime minister by the name of Henry Pelham.
Really?
So this, in the modern stage, this has really evolved since 1984. It's now owned by the Speck family, and the 3 sons run it. It's Paul Jr., Matthew, and Daniel Speck, and they've the winery is just excellent. So
where's the location for this winery?
It's located in Short Hills Bench. It's the easternmost sub-appellation in Niagara, and the whole Niagara area around St. Catharines. So the area boasts a tremendous amount of sunshine in the day. The soil types allow for a lot of water drainage, which is very important. Yet the topsoil holds some water, so the vines have ideal conditions to grow in. And you have cool nights, so it holds the acidity and helps develop great wines like Riesling here, which are very flavorful. You've got a bit of sweetness in there with the sharpness of the acidity, some nice fruit, apple, orchard fruits, peach. The other one here is a Baco Noir, which is really rich and jammy. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. It's actually one of my more favored wines I've tried in an awfully long time from Ontario.
Okay. 45 seconds. Tell us what you do at the Drunken Grape.
So we're a media and events company. I do a lot of vlogging and video to help promote wineries and breweries. On the events side, I typically like to work with groups up to about 100 running educational seminars and facilitations for events, just to educate people on the history and the styles of beer and wine.
So it's great. You get together and you have a drink or two and you educate people.
Absolutely.
That's fun. Thank you so much for being here, Rob, as always. And I have a feeling with your looks, you probably don't have any trouble at Valentine's Day. Plus, you bring bottles of wine, I'm
well,
sure.
The wine helps, for sure.
The wine definitely helps. Thank you very much, drunkengrape.ca. We appreciate your time, as always. Rob Statham.
Hey, thank you, Dylan. It's a pleasure.
Day. We've got much more daytime coming up in moments right here on Rogers Television. It's our Valentine's Day themed show. I'm Dylan Black.